We're going to be doing unit rates practice and problem solving AB. I'm going to do 4 out of the 8 for you and let you do the rest. Number 1, let's try. To make 2 batches of nut bars, Jada needs to use 4 eggs. How many eggs are used in each batch? This is pretty simple. I've got 4 eggs and I've got 2 batches, which means I'm just going to go ahead and divide 4 by 2, which gives me 2. So that tells me I've got 2, let's see, eggs. Okay, 2 eggs. That's it. How many eggs are used per batch? 2 eggs per batch. All right, let's do number 2. That one was a little too easy. On her way to visit her parents, Jennifer drives 265 miles in 5 hours. What's her average speed? I believe I taught y'all in class to use the distance equals rate times time. In other words, the time that goes by times the speed you're going equals the distance. So 265 miles will be our distance. And our rate, well, we don't know what that is. We don't know how fast we're going. That's what they're asking us to find out. And 5 hours, well, that's got to be our time because hours is a measure of time. If I do that, well, I got to get R by itself. And to do that, I have to divide 5 by 5. So I'll have 1 over here because any number over itself is 1. That gives me 1R. And R is all I wanted by itself. But whatever I divide from one side, I must divide from the other. So 265 divided by 5 is going to be our answer. Let's go ahead and check that with our calculator. And we see that 265 divided by 5 is going to give us 53. So that tells me we're going 53 miles per hour. That was our average speed. All right, let's go to a more difficult one. How about number 5? At a local grocery store, a 16-ounce bottle of apple juice costs $3.20. Well, instead of using the distance equals rate times time, we can just as well use an amount over here. So our amount was it cost $3.20. And let's see, the 16 ounces, well, that is a 16-ounce bottle of apple juice. That's basically what it's breaking down to, 16. And now we're going for what is the cost, so that's going to be 16C, C being the cost. We have to get C by itself, so once again, we're going to divide the number that's next to the letter by itself. But whatever I divide from one side, I have to divide by the other. Now 16 over 16 equals 1, so I got 1 times C, and anything times 1 is going to be itself, so C is left alone. But 3.20 divided by 16 gives me 0.2. And if I'm talking money, of course, that means I've got 20 cents. All right, so that means the cost per apple juice per ounce is 20 cents per ounce. All right, and we're ready to go and do one more. I think I'm going to do number 7. Now on number 7, it says after 3/4 of a minute, a sloth has moved just 3/8 of a foot. What is the sloth's speed? Well, the speed is going to be my rate, right? Let's see. This says after 3/4 of a minute. Well, 3/4 of a minute tells me that's the time. So that's going to be 3/4 over here. And that means that's going to equal the amount, which is how much she moved, and that's 3/8. Now, the reason we wrote it like this is so we can see where the numbers go. We just don't assume, because the number said first, that that is the number that goes on top. As we can see here, we want to get R by itself. So we have to divide 3/4, 5, you guessed it, 3/4. And if I divide it from this side, I have to divide it from this side. And now I have my equation that I need to work. And it is 3/8 divided by 3/4. All right, now let's work this separately, shall we? 3/8 divided by 3/4. Now, when I see a problem like this, I know I have to use my formula that was taught to me in class, and that's KFC. That doesn't stand for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That stands for keep the first number the same. And if I keep this first number the same, I have 3/8. Then the second one is flip, which means I'm going to take the second number and flip it. And if I do that, I have 4/3. Everyone see that I'm not keeping 3/4, I'm flipping these two numbers, and I'm making it 4/3. The last thing is to change what I'm doing to it. Before I was dividing, so now I'm going to multiply. Well, 3 times 4, that's 12. And 8 times 3, well, that's 24. And 24/12, well, both of these are divisible by 12, so I have 1/2. Which tells me the answer to this is the slough speed in minutes per feet per minute will be a 1/2 feet per minute. And I'm going to leave the other 4 for you to do. I think these are pretty simple. Please use the formulas and hints that I gave you to figure it out. Keep, flip, and change. And don't forget your distance equals rate times time. All right? All right. I'll see you in class.